Okay, thank you, audience, for being with us once again as we proceed going forward with the subject of the essentials of unity, something that we see is very vital that we get into a very deep discussion about. There's so many problems in the world, and the forecast is not good in a lot of areas of life, and we really need to be together in unity as people. And there's just essential ingredients that we must embrace in order for that to happen. There's essential ingredients for everything in life. If it was baking a cake, if I haven't a clue about baking a cake, I could get some cake mix and some water and an egg and stir it up and put it in a pan and put it in the oven, and I would expect that it would be a flop because I don't know the essential ingredients. And my feeling is that there's so many people that they would say that people are not together, but very few would elaborate or have very few words, if any, to say about why. And there's a major issue in life is that there's so many things that everything has a why to it, but very few people are in the mindset to be seeking why. And so then they get caught up in suffering and whatever the result might be because they don't know the why and they don't come up with a sane solution, a natural solution. And so the essentials of unity that we want to talk about that pertains to people's relationship, their life, all over the planet, is very necessary that we explore that world. And we here don't have all of the answers, and we very much want your input, your support. And we're coming on for just an hour. An hour is not enough to thoroughly explore all of the subject areas of our lives that need to be dealt with concerning and that necessitates unity. So please call in, just give us 10 or 15 minutes, call in and give your input and let's discuss this. And don't forget that we will have ongoing dialogue concerning this and getting more and more understanding and items added to the list that's necessary for unity. And at the end of the program, there will be a telephone number and an address. So please make sure that you look for that. And if you got a pen and paper, and you should be taking notes when you tune into the public access program, the radio and other things, lectures, always take notes because there's always some information that can be valuable in your life that you can also go forth and share with other people, which we should be sharing with other people. And as I said, the topic is the essentials of unity. And don't forget that unity requires justice. So if we're going to have people unified, justice must be involved in that situation, righteousness. And just keep in mind that the word unity has many meanings, but for example, together in purpose, together in spirit, in harmony, and having the same type sentiment, things like that. And some key words that can help us in our journey to unify, and hope I can get you to understand where I'm coming from there, but some key words to embrace in our mind that will help people to come together and eliminate a lot of confusion, and especially confusion that's based on things that are not accurate, are not true. Words like evidence. Always keep that, embrace that word in your mind and keep it on the surface all of the time. So when you turn on the news, turn on the television, hear people speaking lectures, whatever day it is, wherever it is, always be willing to ask, where's the evidence? And we should be able to find evidence to really validate a lot of what we've been told, even though as you do your research, you will find that there's lots of things that people are believing, and the evidence does not support that. And it's all areas of our life, all areas of our life. And another word, before I forget it, is the word the highest good, the highest good. Again, if we keep that planted on the surface of our mind, the highest good, and before you make a decision about certain things or come to a conclusion, ask yourself, is that in the highest good? And it's just like food, for example. People still continue to eat hog guts. They call them chitlins. But is that in the highest good? I was thinking earlier today that long ago, Dick Gregory had said that if you're on a ship and you run out of food and there were rats running around, he said, eat the rats. He said, but if you get back to land and you could find better food, more nutritious food, beneficial food, clean food, if you continue to eat the rats will kill you. And so if you look at this subject of unity, many of the reasons that people are divided is because they are not choosing their thoughts and their behaviors, their lifestyles based on the highest good, and it keeps them divided. And so one thing that I would try to emphasize and try to visualize this, try to visualize a big circle, 360-degree circle. And all around this circle, there's various people with various lifestyles and various beliefs. And you could stop anywhere on the circle, and there's a group over here that says they have the truth. But another group over here could hear them say that, and they say, no, we have it. But there's a group over here that'll say it, and a group over here that'll say it. And a lot of times what's missing is that the people are not realizing and not focusing on the evidence that where's the truth? It's right in the center of the circle. And what is it based on? Evidence. Evidence. And what is the outcome? The highest good. Because then we're not confused. We're not deceived. And so the subject just goes on and on and on. And if you truly care about saving the babies, as Marvin Gaye was singing about in 1971, I believe, if you truly care about saving the people and saving the planet, and if you really realize that if we do those things, we'll be saving ourselves. If you truly care, then people must unify and be able to come together, work together, live together, survive together. And when I say survival, it makes me think about what's happening all around the globe, and certainly lots of news in this country on a regular basis all year long. Violent storms. And as they continue, and they are very severe, people are losing their lives, they're losing their shelters, they're getting injured, and that also means that people are in need of having some shelter, and oftentimes it's with a neighbor or a family member. But one of the things that's among the things that's missing when it comes to this subject of unity, in the past, people were more able to live with each other in a more harmonious fashion. Now it's more difficult. And why is it difficult? Because of a change in mindset, the space between our ears. And what is the biggest problem that's going on in the minds and bodies of the people? I would say it's just the space between our ears. And so among the things that, many things that we've got to do that will nurture unity is we've got to stop the miseducation of the people's minds, the children's mind. And when we do that, you will see an improvement. And there's many examples across the nation and around the world, because there are children that are being properly educated in a fashion that gives them, creates high self-esteem, and very proud children, children that are anxious to go to school, There are school systems in this country, not enough of them, but one of them that I can think of, the attendance rate is 90-some%. And why is it there? Why is it there? That because they love their school, they love their teachers, and their teachers are teaching them all about life in the world, and they are very capable when it comes to reading and writing and understanding and having good clarity, high self-esteem. And when you take the schools that are not teaching in that fashion, and there's more miseducation, then there's more disruption of the children's minds, or they're not interested in staying in school, and the attendance rates are still going, the dropout rates are going up, still going up, and it's spreading because they are being miseducated. And we've got to stop that so that we can save ourselves. And so I'm asking you to please participate, give your input, give your support. We can make a difference. And among the things that we want to put our minds together on is, as I said, we right here in the studio don't have all of the answers, but we do want to offer some suggestions, and we do want your input. So please call in. And among the things that we must agree to, we must agree to listen to each other. And I've emphasized agree to listen to each other, not just say we're going to listen to each other, but agree to listen to each other. So if I come to the circle with you and your friends, your family, your community, and we talk about whatever issue there is in life, you may know what I don't know. You may know that very easily, but let's agree to listen to each other, because if I come to the circle and I agree to listen to you, then it also requires that you would listen to me. And somewhere in that type setting, we would begin to learn more, and that would be an improvement, and there would be more unity, and that's the point I'm trying to get to. So that's just one of the things, is that we must agree to listen. And when we agree to listen, we agree to listen calmly. The intent is not to argue. Just take arguing and just move that right on out of the way, because that is not productive. That is not the unified way. We can discuss, we can debate, we can agree that I'm going to bring forth some evidence to validate whatever I'm saying, but that can be done without arguing, without having disagreement. And among the things that unified people can do when it comes to the subject of talking, learning, listening to each other, is they must realize there's got to be some standard procedure that we would use, that we must always follow, some guidelines whenever we come together. And among those things is, we already said, we must listen, but we must not argue. We must not raise our voice. We must seek to learn and to bring clarity. So ask questions, ask each other's questions, debate, bring forth your evidence. But we don't need to argue. It's not productive. It's not productive. We've got to be receptive to recognizing that there's a big problem, as I had said earlier, with people being, and the children being miseducated. And we've got to correct that. So we must read. We must be willing to study, do your research, go to lectures, watch informative videos, and be very limited about watching videos and movies that offer us no benefit to a better life. Killing, bombing, cursing movies. You don't need to call in and tell me what the benefit of that is, because I think that to entertain, but what does it do for you? Look, just check the news and see how much and how it's on the increase more fighting, arguing, and killing. And what's the source of that? The source is not from people that are being properly educated and have a willingness to listen to each other and they want to be unified. That's not it. And so among the other things that we've got to do is be willing to be respectful. Always be respectful, as one of our elders have said to us. Always be respectful. Be responsible. Another area that we must deal with is have an etiquette of language, and I think I've kind of touched on that. Have an etiquette of language. And when we practice that, when we practice having an etiquette of language, then it just eliminates negative, disrespectful kind of approaches to communicating with people. Another way that you could word it is talk love language. And that's a subject that I think that many people, they would be frowning because they are stuck on aggressive, loud, even foul language, foul names. We must stop name calling. Any kind of foul, disrespectful name calling, we need to put that, as John Henry Clark would have said, in the ash can of history. And so amongst African people, certainly in this country, N words and B words and disrespectful words, there's no value in it. It's actually anti-us. It does not nurture respect, does not nurture unity. And but I am very open to listening. And if I'm wrong, explain it to me, provide the evidence so that I can have clarity on that. And we must be, on a regular basis, seeking to share some good word. Speak to each other, which is another essentials of unity. Speak to each other. Choose to speak to each other and give thanks and praise to the ones that do speak to you, especially lovingly speak to them. Praise them and encourage them to continue to do that. Because when we speak to each other, it just opens up the communication. If we speak to each other, we talk to each other, we can learn from each other. And there's so much to learn from each other. And there's so many people out there in this world that's got higher knowledge that could benefit us. And on a spiritual level, the Most High, by whatever name that you may use, from time to time throughout our life, will send those across our path to teach us something. They'll come across our path with their spiritual hand out. But if I'm looking down and looking away, all frowned up, got my head turned, I missed my spiritual lesson that you were sent and you had your spiritual hand out to teach me something. I was not paying attention and I missed learning my lesson. And so what's a major part of this life journey is for us to learn our lesson. And so as we watch over and over with so many episodes of suffering and confusion because the people have not learned their lesson. And if I spend years and years complaining that my toe hurts and I haven't learned the lesson of what's causing my toe to hurt, so as I said, everything's got a why and it's got an answer. So if my toe hurts on a regular basis, I need to really take a look, get quiet, figure out what's causing it. But if eating the hog guts, the chitlins is what I'm talking about, was the purpose of the reason that my toe hurts, if I learned my lesson, I would stop eating the chitlins. And then my toe would stop hurting. And you have to think about that. If you don't get that, you really need to take a real good look at that. Another thing that we need to do is strive to be honest. Strive to be honest. Because it nurtures things that nurture unity. That's just one of the essential ingredients. Strive to be honest because it has a very beneficial effect on your mind, my mind, to strive to be honest. And that can be difficult in this world that's steadily feeding the people's minds music and movies, that's feeding your mind in a way to be totally opposite of that, to be dishonest, to be foul, to be loud and angry. But it's better not to be. The spiritual path is not to be that way. The spiritual path is to be calm, to be quiet more, to be peaceful, harmonious. That is it. And so if you don't know how to be calm, start with being quiet more. Start by finding someone that can help you and guide you into meditation and how to just quiet your mind and have some quiet moments. And there are people available, including people that come right here, that come to Comcast Public Access that teaches meditation and more. One of them, if you don't know, you can ask around. Her name is Linda Kareem. Linda Kareem, very knowledgeable in meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, things that will be very beneficial to your mind, body, help keep you calm, improve your life, and also having you putting you in the right direction to being in unity and in harmony with the people and with the planet and the rest of the beings on the planet. And when we calm ourselves, be more respectful, all of those things that nurtures unity, high self-esteem, we would also realize another thing that we must not do, we must stop doing, is fighting, wanting to be violent, wanting to have wars, gang wars, any of those type things. We must eliminate those things. And I mentioned miseducation. We need to go to school. Yes, we need to go to school, but we do need to stop the miseducation in the school and start like any other thing. It's just like diet. If you realize and you receive information which is readily available, plenty of people that can explain it to you. You can get on the internet, you can go to the library. There's a higher level when it comes to everything, including diet. And when it comes to being properly educated, there's a higher level. And don't forget, I've lost track of the time, but I believe we can take some callers, and please share your thoughts. Please share your thoughts. And as I was saying about the miseducation, there's just so many areas that we can start having a slow transition towards gaining and comprehending higher knowledge, and just starting to recognize that there are things that we are told that's having a detrimental effect on our minds because, one, some of those things, it just doesn't even make common sense. It doesn't fit into the natural and universal order of things. And one of the things that comes to my mind with regard to miseducation is the yearly event called New Year. And I'm just amazed at how people embrace that as if that's something natural, something universal, which it is not, something that was proclaimed by Julius Caesar some long ago, but there's no universal significance to January the 1st. But the ancient people, it would have been a time that could be in this part of the planet anywhere from March on into June maybe. But there was some universal significance there because when the ancient ones would have embraced a time period from March forward each year, it would have been based on the fact that there was a universal change. It was when life sprang forth again and there was something new. The trees started budding and the flowers started blooming and birds were singing and building their nest to lay the eggs and the babies come forth. And that's just an example of kind of things that we need to get it in order and it has value when we get it in order instead of it being out of order. And we must seek clarity, must seek clarity. And when we seek clarity and we do all of the right things to have clarity, we see life better, not just with these two eyes, but with, as the ancients understood, the third eye or the mind's eye. And when your third eye opens up, you do see life better. And among the things that would help you to do that, being quiet more, yes, that's one of the ingredients. I suggest 4 areas that will help our whole entire life, including the clarity, and that is to strengthen ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically, and nutritionally. And the last one that I mentioned, nutrition, there are many people that have found quickly that their mind's eye open up and their clarity improved tremendously when they boost their nutrition, especially when they made a change from an animal-based diet to a plant-based diet, and especially with living foods instead of all dead food, devitalized food. And so that's something that if you have not experienced that, you just need to find out what a change there is in your worldview when you've got good clarity. And I did mention physically, so that means that among the things that will help us to have just a better and a flowing relationship, a vibrant relationship with each other and with life, the animals and the plants included, is our energy just flows so much better, and we operate in more harmony when we exercise. And the exercise can be various things: walking in the woods, which would be very beneficial. And it could be things such as Tai Chi and yoga. And simple exercise, if you're using any type of exercise device, I would recommend the mini trampoline. And if you want to really study, research it, look up the word rebounder, R-E-B-O-U-N-D-E-R, a rebounder. In healing circles, the mini trampoline is called a rebounder. And there's just much that I could get into about that because I do know about the rebounders quite well. But I want to stay on track with the subject of essentials of unity. And I did mention embracing, or if I didn't mention it, embracing wellness. All of that is going to help your life, your world, how you look at the world. It will be, you would have a larger vision of life. And of course, that would make you more open to being in unity with the beings and the creatures on the planet, and appreciative, in harmony. And when we embrace wellness, among the benefits is we would have better health. We would have a better quality of life. Many instances, we would have a longer life. And the cost of your health care would be much less. And you'd have less stress in your life that's being nurtured in part by embracing wellness. And you would stay younger longer. Doesn't mean that you don't get older. Everybody, babies get older, but you can be whatever your age is, but you don't have to be physically, mentally deteriorating and expecting that, Lordy, you turn 40, you turn 50, and it's downhill. I mean, how old is old? Well, some of that is based on your lifestyle and how you treat yourself, how you feed your mind and your body, and all these other essential ingredients. And better memory, which is something that is, I see as a growing, almost like an epidemic, where more and more are losing their memory, and they're blaming it, when I hear them speak about it, on age or getting old. And a lot of them, I would say, they're not old enough to talk about being old. But often it's the result of malnourishment of their mind, body. And what we need to do is put it all together. So I said earlier, strengthen ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically, nutritionally. When we put it all together, the outcome is that we would be having much less problems with things along those lines. And in the process of dealing with wellness, we must strengthen our immune system, And so there's lots of diseases, viruses going around, and they're more difficult to deal with than ever. And when we strengthen our immune system, we are less susceptible to them. And a disease that I think everybody haven't realized that it's an infectious disease, but I do want to put it out there, being heard around the world. And this new disease, when I mention it to people, a lot of people, they seem to be shocked or surprised. They've never heard of it. But this new disease is called chilling. So pay attention. There's this new infectious disease going around called chilling. Now, I am thankful that we still have some people around that have a permanent immunity to it. I'm one of them. But it is a new infectious disease. Folks that have mentally, physically embraced that disease. And what do they want to do? Nothing. Just be chilling, dragging their feet. And so imagine, try to visualize, close your eyes, that if every day all I wanted to do was be chilling, meaning doing nothing, and dragging my feet, then how much would you want to unify with me? Hold on just a minute, caller, I'm coming. Did I miss that call? Caller, please call back. Sorry, caller, I don't know what happened, but please call back. Do want your comment, your input, your support, so please call back. And another thing that we've got to do in this day and time, and as survival gets to be more difficult, we've got to work hard. And hold on just a minute, caller, we're coming to you. Just having some technical difficulties that we're going to work it out. Yes, caller, thank you so much for calling in. Make sure you turn your television down, please.
Yes, we're calling. We're curious about the living food, the live food that you're speaking about.
Yes.
We were wondering exactly what is the name of that food, and also we were told that you guys might be having some of that food down at your center.
Yes, and we actually have some people that want to come in and teach about that. It's very detailed if you really get involved in it, but just to simplify the conversation, we're talking about live food, meaning uncooked food, and we're talking about plant-based foods, but uncooked food that's still vital in their nutrients that will benefit your body, your mind and body with nutrients and minerals and things like that. And it's the food that is right for us. And just to give you an example, years ago, it might have been in 69 or 70, Dick Gregory wrote a book called Cooking with Mother Nature for Folks Who Eat. And that book was simply saying that the sun has cooked an apple, it has cooked an orange or tomato, and when it has cooked it and it's ripe, it's ready for you. It does not require a stove and things along those lines. We are a live, living body, and you wouldn't see me moving if I wasn't alive and living. But if we want our live, living body, are you still there, caller?
Yes, yes.
If we want our live and living body to have vitality, how could we imagine or think, unless we've just been miseducated, that we could feed it dead things all of the time and then expect plenty of vitality to come out? But the fact is, the evidence points over and over to the people that have embraced that they have a higher level of vitality, less problems with their health than the ones who have not embraced that. Am I making any sense of what I said?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And what's the name of that food again, please?
Well, it's no one food. I mean, you're talking about green foods, fruits and vegetables, herbs, nuts and seeds. There's no one food. I mean, there's various herbs, various plants. It can be juices, celery juice and greens, kale and things along those lines that have parsley is one of them. Just to give you one, parsley is one. Are you still with me?
Yes, I am. You're breaking up here.
Yes. Any further question or comment, or do you see the overall benefit that for us to have unity, that we must strengthen and nurture our total self, our mind, body, spirit?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Well, do you have any other question or comment, or are you're taking notes and you're going to join in with us as we continue dealing with this subject of unity and being well?
Yes. I thank you so much. But I was also told that you might soon be dealing directly with these folks.
Yes. I'm in contact with some people, and we're putting that together, and we just need other people that will come and participate. The telephone number where you can reach me is 804-222-2530. And if it's not, it will be at the end of the program, but it's 804-222-2530. Thank you so much, caller. We got some other callers.
Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate your call. Yes, caller. Thank you so much for calling in. We need your input, your comment, but please turn your television down so we won't have that noise feedback. All right, caller, please call back. We've got too much interference. Sorry to cut you off, caller. We just couldn't get it. Call back. You've got to turn the television down. Just talk to the telephone. Don't try to listen through the television itself. Yes, caller. Thank you so much for calling.
Yeah, Hotep, brother. This is
Hotep, brother Keel.
Yeah, brother.
Yes.
How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing.
I'm glad you mentioned respect, because what I'm going to say might cause some disrespect, and I don't mean for that to happen.
Yes, say it.
I'm going to take my time because I have some food for thought.
Please give
Not
it.
particular for you, but for everyone who is listening.
Bring it on.
I was thinking today, because there's a lot about the shooting on TV that's in Colorado. Mm-hmm. What if, and this is just food for thought, what if the Joker, the suspected killer in the Aurora shootings, is not a psychopath, but one who sees the world as it is. This sort of decadent society, and instead of going against the grain, accepts the world as it is, unadjusted. And that the so-called normals, the ones children who see the world as this sort of utopia, could be the real psychos and in their passivity concerning issues of the world actually created the Joker. In the movie The Frankenstein, Frankenstein was the doctor who created the monster. Frankenstein was not the monster. I bring this up so we can be connected with everything that's around us and do some inner searching and see if in our passivity and us not listening to people such as yourself, did we actually create people like the so-called Joker and Aurora? That's some food for thought I just want to put out there.
I thank you so much, and that is some very deep and powerful food for thought, and many people would need to come and have it broken down. Thank you, caller. I can say that many people would need for you to break it down further. I understood what you were saying, and we've got to get people to understand, and I hope they were listening word for word and listening to you as you repeated that, because just in the last few days, I passed by someone that was watching a violent killer cussing movie, and one of the men in the movie, before they went to war against their supposed to be enemy, they were fighting amongst each other, and one of them made the statement to the rest of the group that this is what a real man does. A real man fights. And I was just amazed at that. So I think that the caller was expressing a powerful message that we really need to grasp. And that's just some more of the reasons that we must come together in unity, in harmony, calm, and with a better worldview. It's gone.
You can answer 3 rings.
Okay. Sorry, caller. Please call back. Miss your call. It haven't lit up over here green yet. Yes, caller. Thank you for calling.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing well. Glad to hear you.
Good. I was listening to you, man, and you know, and it's good that you on with that because we need to know that.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of times us as people don't educate ourselves as far as what we eat.
What?
You know, like baked foods and all that stuff, and greens and cabbage and stuff like that. And to me, basically, I'm in the South Side. They don't have all the nice stuff over here like they do in the West End, like Whole Foods and the vitamin store. You know, they need to get that stuff over so people can see the stuff they need to get to help them in the aspect to take care of your body. I mean, you guys help the people that die too now.
Yes.
Or whatever. Yeah, you do. I got friends that didn't die. Just help nuts.
Yes.
But in that aspect, what I'm saying is, it's just that they need to get this stuff over here like they got over there in the good white neighborhoods up there in Short Pump and stuff like that. We don't have none of that over here.
Right.
So they don't know about all that good stuff that you can put in your body and stuff like that and all that stuff. That's all pretty much I want to say. And I appreciate you being on, man. They need all that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the support, and please, thank you, caller. Thank you for the support, and make sure that you get the phone number at the end, and those things can be in the South Side, the East End, wherever. The biggest thing that's holding people back is coming together in unity, and what you must address that will help the people to come forward in unity among the things is to get the space between our ears in the right focus, and we can correct that. We can correct that. There's lots of higher knowledge out there that's just waiting for us to come and get it. Higher knowledge is waiting for you to come and get it. And so it's not that it's not there. As I was telling somebody recently, that during one of the world wars, it was World War I or World War II, and the U.S. Air Force was bombing Europe at night, doing night bombing. And the pilots were having night vision problems. So what did they do? They gave them bilberry, B-I-L-B-E-R-R-Y. Bilberry is related to a blueberry. And if you look it up, like I said, take notes and do your research. Look things up. Look up bilberry, but bilberry will improve night vision and other vision issues. And so why should I have to go and take some medication or wear glasses when I could, as I said the last time, do eye exercises, which I do, and take things, live living foods and plants and plant-based diet that will help nourish your entire body, including your eye system. We don't have to go through that. So many things we don't have to go through, but we must learn and we must embrace accurate knowledge. We must embrace the evidence, and there's just so much. We can stop the suffering. What's the biggest thing that's stopping the people from stopping the suffering? Knowledge in the space between our ears that will either allow us to stay stuck or allow us to get unstuck. This is what we can do. But we've got to practice ways that are not defeating us while we call ourselves going forward. So I mentioned earlier, name calling, N-word, B-word, all of those kind of things. People can say, I want to have unity, I want to have harmony amongst the people of the world, but I don't know that I'm defeating myself. I'm doing an anti-us kind of dance of life by using those words. Negative vibration are no benefit to our higher self. There's a higher self where we get centered and we get focused. But anytime we go off in a negative way, we get off center. And so if I walk out the door and somebody curse me and talk about my mama, and if I stay here, stay centered, I'll just look at them and just know they're there. Know it and don't dwell on it. But if I say, what you say? What did I do? I moved off my center. So learn how to strengthen yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, and nutritionally, and stay on your center. And when you learn it and practice it, you can do it, and you can do it more and more and more. So begin the journey and make the slow transition. Begin the journey with the food, make the slow transition. Begin to educate and gather with some people that are interested in the same unified, harmonious kinds of ways. Stop practicing self-destruction and cursing, name-calling, N-word, B-word, any kind of foul kind of thing. We need to diss that, put it in the ash can of history. Stop speaking with anger. You can make your point and you don't have to speak with anger. As I was saying, you don't have to speak with anger. The African wisdom says that when you see two fools hollering at each other, you can't tell who the biggest fool is. So just be aware of those type things. Hold on, caller, we're coming to you. Yes, caller, thank you so much for calling in to the program. Please offer some insights.
Yes, your teeth.
Yeah.
Your teeth and your intestinal tract should dictate your diet.
Yes.
Our teeth are flat.
Yeah, I agree with you.
For vegetables and fruits.
That's right.
Our intestinal tract is rather long.
Yes.
And we don't have the things that would absorb a pig or meat and things like that. So we have to take that into consideration.
Oh, I agree
that
with
you.
you.
That is having your diet in relationship to nature.
Yes, I agree.
And we may have certain diseases, those who are vegetarians and vegans, we may have eye problems, but the key is that you can fight these things better in a healthy body than you can in a body that's full of meats and sugars and those things that deteriorate the body. And that's my comment.
You're so right. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. You You are so right about that, and people, please listen around the world to the messages that are being passed and the callers that are bringing in this good thought, good knowledge, deep thought, and that's what we got to get back to, some deep thought, some higher thoughts. Thank you, caller, for calling in. Please give us some good words.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm glad to hear you call.
Hey, I just wanted to, thank you for, providing the insights that you do. And I'm really glad that, you have a voice and that you have a method like, such as television to reach people. And that's what we need more of. I usually listen to, on Sunday, I usually listen to a brother on, I think it's 92.1. He usually comes on in the morning. And he talks about a lot of the things you talk about, and I just wanted to say that it's good that more people are in the media who are actually putting the truth out there. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too, and continue to give your support.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right. Don't forget to get the address and the phone number at the end of the program.
All right, will do. You'll hear from me soon.
Yes, and we need to gather together live because we've got so much more to cover than we can do in an hour just on this program. We're going to be here next Wednesday also at 9 o'clock. Pass the word through your email list, Facebook, or however.
All right, you'll hear from me.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
So wonderful to hear from people that even use words like I appreciate you, because we've got to embrace those good words, not those foul, destructive, anti-us, self-destructive words. Yes, caller, thank you so much for calling in.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing so well to hear your voice.
I just wanted to ask a question. I like coffee. You might not agree with that. But my problem is, what can I use to sweeten it other than sugar? I mean, like even if you use the natural sugar, you got to use so much. Mm-hmm. The natural brown sugar. You got to use so much, and I really would love to give up using sugar, and I want something that would sweeten it. Do you know of anything that I could use for coffee in there? I know tea is cool, but coffee, you just can't put anything in coffee for this, taste. And I was wondering, I'll get off the phone. I just wanted to see that you know anything for that.
Yes, thank you, caller.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I have to search my mind. I'm not a coffee drinker. That's something that years ago. So I don't dabble in that. I would, when you were talking, honey came to my mind, but I'm not a coffee drinker. I mostly drink water. Sometime, every now and then, I drink tea. And if it was a smoothie, I could think of something that you could do. Is what you can do to sweeten a lot of things, like in a smoothie, naturally and without sugar, is to take some raisins and put them in a cup or a jar and cover it with water, let's say 1/4 raisins and half water, and have that raisin soak overnight, and you take that and you put it in your drink, and it will naturally sweeten without the sugar because the water had absorbed the sweetness of the raisins into the water. The water had absorbed the sweetness of the raisins into the water. I'm not a coffee drinker. I generally would advocate finding another way to accomplish what people are seeking to accomplish by drinking coffee. One, if we wake up with our focus on drinking a glass of room temperature water, which is the things that people like Dick Gregory have been saying for years, and I've been doing it for years myself, and to get on a routine of doing some exercise like walking, some Tai Chi, or getting on a rebounder, which I was telling you about. You could, there are natural ways, and I could get into some other things to awaken the body and bring up your vitality that does not require things like coffee, and this is just what comes to my mind. We are down to the last 3 minutes. Don't forget, there's just so much more. So the opportunity is there for people to come together and share knowledge. People all over the world got knowledge, but we've got to embrace some sane knowledge, some things that's got some evidence, and we could stop being in such a difficult position, and we do have 5 minutes. And as we're talking about unity, and one of the last few callers mentioned the problems in the world and illness and things like that, and being able to survive. The caller mentioned that we'd being able to endure more things when we nourish ourselves and treat ourselves in a righteous and in a natural kind of way. With all of the more stresses that are coming forth, including the violent weather and uncertainty about weather and things like that, we've got to have some survival strategies. And when you have strength, when you regularly strengthen yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, nutritionally, and more back in touch with the earth like we're supposed to be, you are also in a better shape mentally and physically. That if you had to, because of the storm or whatever the issue is, had to walk from here to Petersburg or whatever tomorrow, you have tremendously raised the odds that you could say, well, let's go. But if you watch the world population, where they at with their diet, where they at with their mind, if they had to walk from here on the boulevard to First and Broad, it would be like outrageous, like out of their mind, because of the way that they have been carrying on their life. So we've got to change that. We've got to change that. If we want to have unity, we've got to be saving the babies. If we save the babies, we're saving ourselves. We cannot save the babies and miseducate the babies. We cannot save the babies and have them taking in foul music, foul thoughts. And you see little babies, and they're just mirror images of some of the thugs and the lost ones that are all advocating a foul life, a life about killing each other, going to jail. That is not what's up. And we've got to do better than that. And you and I, all of us around the world, we've got the opportunity to change that by bettering our thought, our understanding, our information. And we got to embrace this word, evidence in what's in our highest good. And the time is running out. We've got about 2 minutes, and I thank everybody who has tuned in. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. And don't forget, we still have opportunity to gather together at various places and learn about the food, or learn about the essentials of unity, which is a very serious subject, and the things that we must do to have unity, and the things that if we continue to do, we're just defeating unity, and we're just setting ourselves up for continuous and self-destruction. We're just practicing self-destruction. If you feed yourself a bunch of ludicrous, foul, N-word, B-word information, you are on your way. And it's being demonstrated, the evidence of what comes out in the news and who's going to jail and who's going to die, who's dying, who got killed. The evidence is bearing that out. But the ones that are embracing the higher knowledge, including the thing about food, the evidence is bearing that out too. And don't forget, at the end of the program, please write down the numbers, but the address where one of the places that we can gather together is 3302 Williamsburg Road, which is in the East End right here in Richmond. And the telephone number that you can reach me at is 804-222-2530, 804-222-2530. Please give me a call. Let's unify and go forward together and live a better life. We can come back to the higher side. The ancestors were on the higher side, and we can come back to it. We've got the juice to do it. It's just the space between our ears. We got to get straight, and we can eliminate a lot of the suffering, a lot of the chaos, and seek higher knowledge, seek the missing history that they didn't teach us in school,